Een hele goede morgen voor iedereen die erbij is vandaag. Voor iedereen die vandaag erbij is, laat even weten of je ons goed kan zien in onze kerstoutfit. Laat weten of je ons goed kan horen ook. Zodat we in ieder geval weten dat jullie goed beeld hebben en dat alles welkom is. Mochten jullie ondertussen afvragen van, goh, wat heeft Robin op zijn hoofd zitten? En waarom is Ellen verkleed als kerstman? Wij hebben als team uitje vandaag. We hebben een eindejaarspresentatie. Waarin we vandaag de dag afsluiten bij de toppers. Dus vandaar zijn we volledig in het thema kerst verkleed. Dus mochten jullie dan denken, goh, wat is dit? Dan weten jullie in ieder geval waar het vandaan komt. Mochten jullie alles goed kunnen zien en goed kunnen horen, laat het even weten in de chat. Zodat wij weten dat we goed te verstaan zijn en het beeld goed te zien is. Zodat we daar gelijk mee door kunnen gaan. Kijk, top. Super. Nou, ik denk dat we gewoon alvast kunnen gaan starten. Ik zie nog steeds mensen binnenkomen, dus dat is top. Voordat we beginnen aan de presentatie met Heimdal, ik zet even de bril af, want anders raak ik afgeleid. Voordat we beginnen met de Heimdal webinar, nog even over ons Portland Performance Prism. Dit is de propositie die we namens Portland naar buiten gaan brengen. En dit alles om elke MSP uiteindelijk te gaan helpen richting een high performance MSP. En dat doen we op basis van feiten en cijfers. Want wat we zien is dat de best-in-class MSP's, die draaien nog steeds een EBITDA van 19,5%. En wat ik zelfs bij heb zien komen is IBDA's van 27 tot net tegen de 30%. Waar een gemiddelde MSP, die op basis van gevoel zijn organisatie aan het leiden is, zien we een EBITDA van 9,3%. En 50% van die MSP's hebben zelfs een EBITDA lager dan 5%. Wat betekent dat als de grootste klant zou vertrekken, dat we gewoon in de rode cijfers duiken en uitdagingen hebben. En dat willen we niet, uiteraard. En daar hoopt ons Performance Prism bij. Nou, dat doen we door een aantal strategieën toe te passen, maar een van de grootste uitdagingen is tech stack en efficiency. Wat we zien is dat we veel overlap hebben tussen tools, waar het vroeger verschrikkelijk moeilijk was om de meest innovatieve tools te onboarden, hebben we nu een tool overload, een tool sprawl. Dus waar we gemiddeld een overlap tussen de 8 en 12 core tools zien, waar we benchmarken tussen de 3 en 5 voor de meest efficiënte MSP's. Nou, daaronder zie je ook een efficiency number. Dit meten wij door middel van het Service Leadership Index, wat al 25 jaar benchmarkt over de MSP's wereldwijd, om zo jullie cijfers tegen de best-in-class aan te leggen. Waar scoren zij nou verschrikkelijk goed op? En wat kunnen jullie nou verbeteren binnen jullie organisatie op basis van feiten en cijfers? Wat we ook zien is dat we gemiddeld 18 tot 40 euro verspillen per seat. Door gewoon simpelweg te veel tools, te hoge kosten. En daarmee dus je winstgevendheid naar beneden te brengen. Prijzingdiscipline. Gemiddeld hebben we 12 tot 25 euro dat we te laag zitten in onze per seat prijs. We zijn allemaal immens veel security aan het onboarden. Dus we leveren veel meer waarde dan dat we een jaar geleden al deden. Maar we gaan onze C-prijs, die passen we niet genoeg en gedisciplineerd aan. 50% van de portfolio's is gewoon simpelweg niet winstgevend. Waar de best-in-class MSP's gemiddeld 6,1% gemiddeld de gross margins op hun services hoger hebben. 80% van de MSP's die sturen aan op gevoel in plaats van data. En daardoor mis je gewoon hele belangrijke onderdelen binnen jullie organisaties. En daar helpen we jullie bij om dat inzichtelijk te krijgen door middel van het Portland Performance Prism. Nou, daar naar rechts zie je van de OML, dus de Operational Maturity Level. Daar kijken we naar. Je hebt er namelijk 5, 1 en 2, die maken break-even of draaien zelfs verlies. Die groep wordt gelukkig in het afgelopen kwartaal steeds kleiner, maar nog steeds zijn het te veel. De OML 3, dus gemiddeld zo'n plus minus 9% IBDA. Nog niet daar waar je wil zijn, richting de best-in-class, maar nog echt wel een stuk efficiëntie te halen. OML 4 en 5, dat noemen wij de best-in-class of de high-performance MSP's. En die hebben een EBITDA hoger dan 19,5%. Een gemiddelde MSP, en dat hebben we nu al met meerdere MSP's hebben we dat laten zien, laat gemiddeld tonnen per jaar liggen. En dat kunnen wij binnen 45 minuten inzichtelijk maken door onze Business Value Engine. En dat is allemaal onderdeel van onze Portland Performance Prism. Dit is hoe het eruit ziet voor elke MSP die wij spreken. Die zit voornamelijk nog links. Dus, en waar moeten we naartoe? We moeten naar rechts. 1 strakke stack, lagere kosten, hogere winst. 1 platform, 1 werkwijze, 0 gedoe. Datagedreven prijzing, waar iedereen zich goed bij voelt, maar ook de eindgebruiker begrijpt. Jullie niet meer als een kostenpost ziet, maar als een waardevolle strategische partner. En we willen allemaal overzicht, rust en systemen die werk dragen. We horen allemaal dingen over agentic AI. Maar hoe zetten we dat nou in voor onze organisatie? Dat valt allemaal binnen ons Portland Performance Prism. De route naar een winstgevende MSP, dat start allemaal bij ons bij de Business Value Engine. Binnen 45 minuten laten we precies zien waar jullie organisatie winst lekt en wat jullie moeten optimaliseren binnen jullie organisatie om richting die high performance MSP te groeien. Hier zie je de route die daarvoor is. We doen eerst een SLI benchmark met de Business Value Engine. Hoe scoren jullie er nou op? Vervolgens doen we een deep dive erin en op basis daarvan komen programma's uit om jullie richting die high performance MSP te laten groeien. Dit is de impact die we tot nu toe kunnen meten voor onze Portland Performance Prism. We gaan dit in 2026 gaan we dit neerleggen bij elke MSP die je kan bedenken. Want je ziet gewoon daadwerkelijk het verschil. Je ziet direct rechts al, gemiddelde MSP, 9% EBITDA, waar een Portland Performance Prism partner richting die 20% EBITDA gaat. Nou, hoe doen we dat? Dat zie je links. We doen het door middel van 18% margeverbetering, wat we tot nu toe hebben gezien. 12 tot 25 euro per seat toevoegen aan je seatprijs, omdat je gewoon die waarde levert. En die laten we inzichtelijk zien bij je eindgebruikers. Dus niet simpelweg maar gewoon verhogen of indexeren, maar gewoon laten zien aan de klant en meenemen aan de hand. We hebben 20 tot 40% minder supportdruk. We hebben zelfs sommige MSP's die er nog boven vallen. Maar 20 tot 40% zou enorm veel kansen genereren om de relatie weer als eerste te stellen. Dus er echt voor je klant te kunnen zijn. In plaats van bezig te zijn met de overload aan tickets die we binnenkrijgen van de gemiddeld 18 tools die we al gebruiken binnen onze organisaties. Nou, 2 tot 3 keer hogere conversies, dat noemen wij de sales fix. Dat zit allemaal binnen ons programma. En uiteindelijk het doel is rust, voorspelbaarheid en schaalbaarheid. Dit alles sluit natuurlijk perfect aan bij het verhaal wat we vandaag gaan horen met Heimdal. So I'll switch over to English because we got our friend Ellen over here. Ellen from Heimdal. We onboarded Heimdal in like 4 months ago. So 3 months of onboarding, of course, new vendor. So we need to have a workaround there. And we saw major successes already with the partners that we signed up in the first month. We, well, actively bringing it to market. We saw consolidations from 7 tools to 1, from 8 agents to 1 simple agent, tool overload and then ticket overload. And we all saw that consolidating in 1 solution. It's an European vendor, so it's perfect for our legislation where we're going to deep dive in today. Ellen, thank you so much for joining, man. Really
appreciate you very much.
Your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to dress up as Santa Claus this morning.
I just wanted to say it, man. I typically see you in a very smart casual outfit, and to be honest, your Santa Claus outfit fits perfectly, man. And thank you so much for joining. The stage is now yours.
Thank you.
If there are any questions for the partners who are reviewing this, feel free to use the chat. I will read the chat, and every question I will directly answer to Ellen.
Okay. Can you see the screen okay, Robin? Is it?
Yes, 100%.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everybody. Merry Christmas. As Robin says, my name's Alan Case, representing Heimdal. Just a bit of background on me. I've been in the industry for many years, and I've been with Heimdal for nearly 11 years. I joined about a year after the company was formed, helped build up the UK MSP business, and as Robin said, in the last 6 to 8 months or so, a big focus for us coming into the Netherlands and the Benelux market. We're very excited about working with Robin and the team at Portland, and as you said, it's been a busy few months as well. So today, what I'm going to do is help outline how, by working with us here at Heimdal, we can help you and, of course, your clients achieve compliance because of all the new regulations that we see. So first of all, I guess you can look at this that we are now entering the compliance era. There are many new directives that, depending upon where you're located, you kind of need to follow for legal reasons. to help with insurance. For us here in Europe, it's NIS2. Well, particularly for you guys, for us actually in the UK, where I'm based, it's something called Cyber Essentials. So you're finding there are different directives and compliance directives within each country. But obviously, a few years ago, the UK decided to leave the European Union. We're looking at Cyber Essentials, and for the rest of the EU, it's NIS2. NIS2 is the Network and Information Security Directive 2. What is it? Well, it's a European-wide and EU-wide legislation aimed at improving the cyber security resilience of critical industry and critical infrastructure. It's mandatory risk management. It covers supply chain security, reporting issues within a specific time period, and it gives executive accountability all the way up to the C team, the CEO, the CTO. The purpose of the directive is to elevate and standardize cybersecurity readiness across the EU's critical sectors. Now, there are other variations as well. If DORA is another directive, it's very, very similar to NIS2. It's focused on financial entities. So if your clients that you're servicing are financial houses, then it's kind of like DORA is the perspective that they'll be looking at. The key features, again, it's about risk management and digital operational resilience and testing. And their goal is resilience in the financial sector. There are some others, NIS-CSF, which is actually a voluntary framework for managing security risks. It's based on 6 core functions: govern, identity, protect, detect, respond, and recover. And the goal there is to provide a systematic approach to security risk management. And then finally, we see the occurrence of CIS 18, that is prioritized cybersecurity best practices, which gives 18 actionable controls. The goal is to harden your systems. These two, NIS2 and DORA, they are mandatory compliance standards that, providing you're in the EU and you fit within the the framework, you have to comply with. The other two, they're voluntary. Okay, they're best practices. So let's focus on NIS2 and the actual directive. Who is effective? Well, we've kind of covered that. It's essential and important entities in the EU, including critical infrastructures like energy, transport, health, anywhere where there's digital infrastructure. What has to be done? They have to implement robust and manageable and reportable cyber security risk management and incident reporting measures. It has to be done. If they don't, they will get penalties. Who complies? Why comply? Well, obviously to enhance their cybersecurity, which in itself will enhance their brand and their compliance. But they need to do it to avoid substantial penalties, which can go right down, of course, to individuals within the company. What are the key requirements? What we'll do is go through each one and then try and map out how we, Heimdal, can help your clients achieve these requirements. So they're categorized as risk management, incident handling, incident reporting, business continuity, supply chain security, security within your network information systems, strong authentication and training. And how do you map that against the requirements? Your clients will, in order to comply, they'll need to conduct regular risk assessments. For incident handling, they have to have plans and procedures in place for detecting and responding to cyber incidents. They need to be able to report those incidents within 24 hours. They need to be able to implement business continuity and disaster recovery plans. They need to be able to assess and improve the security practices of their third-party suppliers, which is inherently difficult, of course, to mandate. They need to be able to use those security measures such as encryption and vulnerability management within their critical information systems. From authentication, they need to implement strong authentication mechanisms, 2FA, multi-factor authentication. And finally, from a training aspect, they need to ensure there is regular cyber security awareness training and cyber hygiene practices for all their employees and their top management. You'll all be very aware that the biggest risk within the customer, the client, are the people clicking on phishing emails. Also, the high risk, of course, is that this gets ignored at executive level. So you have this situation where the executives are focused on increasing EBITDA, as we've seen, perhaps ignoring the spend that needs to be done on cybersecurity awareness. And the employees need to be aware of the fundamentals in cybersecurity awareness training. What are the penalties? Well, this can scare your clients. Failure to comply can result in significant financial penalties. So fines of up to 10 million euros or 2% of the company's global annual revenue. And the fine is whichever is the higher. So the minimum is 10 million euros. Important entities, fines of up to 7 million or 1.4% of the company's global annual revenue. Again, whichever is higher. And here's the key that will trigger, I guess, the awareness at C-level is management accountability. Top management can be held personally liable for gross negligence, and they may face temporary bans from managerial responsibilities of other companies as well. So gross negligence, when they are aware of the risk, going through all those essentials that we've just listed, can have bad, I guess, reflection and responsibilities on high management. So who are we and how can we help with compliance? You'll see the Viking there. We are a European cyber security company. I'll give you a little bit of potted history about Heimdal. We were formed in 2014. We come out of Copenhagen in Denmark. That's where the head corporate office is. We were formed by two world champion white hat hackers. It's a very interesting story. Two guys from Europe went over to the DEF CON convention in Las Vegas. They entered the capture the flag hacking competition, and they won it. They actually won it 2 years on the trot, beating the likes of the FBI and the CIA. The technology that they used on their servers and their devices to defend themselves from the other hacking teams is what they used to form the company. They decided to monetize that. They formed a company. They called it Heimdal. Heimdal, if you're into Norse mythology, was the gatekeeper to Asgard, which is the land of the Nordic gods. If you've seen the Marvel films, you'll know all about that. And they looked at the technology on their devices as the gatekeeper to the internet, the gatekeeper on a device. So aptly named Heimdal. The company headquartered in Europe. We now have offices in Copenhagen, in Munich, here in London. We have offices out in America, in Florida, to serve the American market. The largest office is where all the development is done, which is in Romania, in Bucharest. And all of the products that we have that I'll show you on the next slide are developed by Heimdal. Specifically, I would say with the MSPs in mind, our biggest market here in the UK is 80% driven by MSPs. And that's the kind of market, the pattern that we're building up here in the Benelux as well. What do we do now? Above and beyond those original two products that the founders presented, we now have a full unified security management, much of what Robin was talking about in streamlining your vendors. We offer proactive threat prevention. That's always been a plus for Heimdal. Because of our history, we've always looked at the cybersecurity market from a hacker's perspective. That goes down to the origins. Where is that hacker coming from, and how are they trying to exploit your clients, or indeed you and the supply chain? Now, of course, and what this, I guess, partly presentation is about, because we have this unified solution, we're able to aid in compliance, governance, and we have a full audit reporting section within the product. Everything that we provide is and can be backed up by a full SOC team. So when it comes down to incident reporting and reaction and recovering, of course, the MSP can take that front line, but you can outsource that to Heimdal as well. It's a full European-based 24/7 security operations center. Real people, fully trained, that can sit behind your resource to run the whole Heimdal unified SOC for you with dedicated support. So this side shows, I guess, all of the potential attack angles that cyber criminal element are trying to hit you from cloud security, through network security, endpoint security, of course, vulnerability management, PAM, privileged access management, how to manage your local access, your users' local access rights, email security, phishing emails, training your people not to click on phishing emails, a full threat hunting center as well to help your SOC team or our SOC team eliminate the risks and see where the high risks fit, and some unified endpoint management features. All of those, of course, helping comply with NIS2 on those various, I guess, options that need to be done, backed up by a 24/7 SOC. This is the product side. I'm actually going to bring up a pointer here if I can. Here we go. Now, I'm going to go back. Each one of these individual lines are separate products. So as an MSP, or even as an end user, you can decide which products you want in your security stack, whether you want the full stack, which is highly unlikely, or whether you want pieces of the stack to help complement the stack that you already are providing. And of course, there's that whole unification piece about how you can streamline down from 5, 6, or 7 vendors down into one, lessen your resource, and lessen your kind of, how many point solutions you have. The concept is you deploy an agent from Heimdal onto your devices, one single agent that can be configured for multiple products. So already you're lessening the issues that you might be seeing now with agent fatigue, different agents trying to communicate with each other, which of course, from different vendors they won't. One single agent, one single dashboard. In that agent, you can configure from an endpoint security standpoint, DNS security. This is the original product, and it's of course been developed over the 11 years. This is the original product that the founders used to win the world hacking competition, that they used to defend themselves. It can be configured now on the local device or in the cloud. On the device, of course, brings with it the addition that wherever those devices go, you are supported. So if you look at my perspective as a use case, I have most of these products enabled on my device. Wherever I travel, if I'm working at home, as I am today, in the office, or if I take a trip to Portland's office, when I go online, I am protected by all of these products. The DNS security is protecting my device from connecting back to any malicious infrastructure. That's the perspective of where is that hacker coming from. If they spin up a zero-day domain, there is AI built into this product that will detect that it is zero-day. It will detect that the device it's sat on hasn't communicated with that domain safely before, and you have the option to block it, of course. So it's developed a lot over the past years. But essentially, this is the safety net, the Heimdal, the gatekeeper on your device, blocking your clients from going to malicious infrastructure where they can bring down the infections. I'm going to move over to this product. This was the second product that was released in line with DNS. DNS is about where is that hacker coming from. The vulnerability management piece is about how is that hacker trying to exploit my clients? How is it going to get that malware into the system? And that's 90% of the time through a vulnerability, through a vulnerable application. When this product is enabled in the agent, it will scan the device, report back every single software application that you have, which you can then decide whether you want to centrally remove. You can deploy applications through this Infinity Management one. That's not just standard applications. Those could be specific bespoke applications or processes that you've created for your client. You can quite simply deploy it out to desktops or laptops of your choice. But more importantly, this will report back all of the vulnerabilities, and then, assuming you set it correctly or accordingly, it will automatically patch them. So, for example, this covers third-party applications. It covers Microsoft updates, Linux, and Mac OS. If Google produce an update for Chrome, as an example, the way this works is that Heimdal will take the update from the vendor, in that case Google, test it, QA it. When we're happy with it, we push it out and make it available to our global customer base. In that instance, for example, I go online, I need that update because my version of Chrome has the vulnerability. My device will see, it pings the cloud every 15 minutes. It will see that vulnerability. It will see that patch is available, and then it will just pull it down and install it automatically on my device, wherever my device is, with no other user integration. So from an MSP perspective, once you set this up, you know that all of those applications, those vulnerabilities will be patched automatically within a 4-hour window of that patch becoming available. When you're looking at more complex updates, for instance, a Microsoft update that may require a reboot, you can then be a little bit more granular, and you can configure the product to when it looks for updates, what category you want to deploy automatically. If devices require a reboot, all of that can be managed centrally. But essentially, it's about removing vulnerabilities within the shortest time period possible. That's product number 2, if you like. Also available in the stack, we of course have now the remediation piece. So these two are proactive security. We have our antivirus. It's actually based on the Windows Defender model. So it's a version of, I guess, Windows Microsoft Business, but with extended threat prevention. Over 1,200 rules based on the MITRE attack framework, the ability to manage the Windows firewall, and access to every single port on the device. So you can create a zero trust model on your RDP port if you want to, all built in. So we're looking at detecting, and that's another key element within compliance for NIS2. Another product, individual products, of course, you can decide which ones you want to enable and which ones you don't want enabled. Ransomware encryption protection, well, that's pretty obvious by the description of what it does. It sits in the back, monitoring all of the processing. It looks at all of the applications. As soon as an application starts to encrypt a file, it will kick in. It will quarantine that file, so it's remediating. It's providing protection against ransomware, which you will need to do for NIS2 compliance. And it will importantly as well isolate the device so you don't get any lateral spread. So that forms the EDR or XDR piece, the endpoint management piece from Heimdal. Of course, as I said, for some of our larger clients, you can back that up with our SOC. So all of those can be deployed to your team, and then the management, the remediation can be taken care of by our European SOC team. Moving on down, also in that single agent, you can decide whether or not you want to take advantage of our PAM products. We have a very simple privilege elevation and delegation management tool. This is about the ease of use for managing local admin rights. Your users, in order to comply with NIS2, need to be locked down with no local admin. That's extremely important. But as you will well know, that brings its own pain points in that mundane installation tasks, like something like installing a printer driver, means that somebody with administrative rights has to log in and do it remotely. Not anymore. The user can simply make a request in the Heimdal app on their device, and then you as a service provider will see who that request comes from, what they want to do, and you simply press a green button or a red button. If you press the green button to approve, that user is automatically escalated to local admin for a preset period of time, let's say 10 minutes. They can then perform that install themselves, and then after that 10 minutes, they're automatically de-escalated. So you are demonstrating that you're managing the local admin rights of your users, and yet in the same time taking, I guess, that pain of mundane tasks away from your service desk. And of course, you could log into the dashboard, run a report, see what the reasons they asked for, exactly what processes they run, and what applications were run as well. So it's full audit reporting. In the app, one advantage of unification is that it's all in the same agent. The technologies talk to each other. So if a user is running a session and one of these other products detects a threat, it will automatically close that session. We have application control. This is similar to, I guess, a market leader like ThreatLocker. This gives you full control of the applications. You can decide who has access to what, whether they're applications locally, whether they're in the cloud, what they can do with those applications. Maybe it's just an application like your ERP system that needs local admin rights and not a user. That's simple to do. You can decide whether you want to ring fence or app fence, as we call it, the application. So you can control if an application can connect out to the infrastructure, internet, whether it can spawn other applications, who has access to it at what time. You have full control over the applications. And of course, combining it with the patching and asset management product, you get this full visibility of all the applications. You can decide which applications to keep, how to update the vulnerabilities, and who has access to them. And then finally, in the PAM space, this is the latest product. It's a PASM, privileged account and session management. Not for your clients, this is for you and your administrators. So we take that, I guess, administration session. You can manage which of your administrators have access to which servers, when they can run sessions. Those sessions are recorded, and you can store their login credentials in a secure vault. So you don't have just a standard admin login and password. It's automatically updated and changed securely every time your administrators access the account. That's what's in the agent. When you look outside the agent, you can combine your email security. So this is an MX record based, of course. It adds additional phishing protection, malware protection, advanced threat protection, protection against business email compromise, and fraud prevention to Office 365. Whichever products you select, so even if you're just running a pattern asset, you get BitLocker management, you get the ability to push scripts out from the dashboard, and we also have a remote desktop tool, which means you don't have to run a TeamViewer subscription. You can cancel that, save the cost, and pull it all down and get the same functionality that you'd find with TeamViewer within our remote desktop. So, NIS compliance. now you've built the picture up that, okay, you have the ability now to unify as little or as much as you want. One of the elements within the Heimdal product is that you can run a compliance report. Now, this is something that we worked quite closely with the guys at Portland on how this is done. But essentially, there's a section in the dashboard. You would click, it would run a report. It would scan the device using the agent, and it would highlight basically all the elements of NIS2 that you are compliant and all of those that you're not. Now, of course, some of NIS2 is about internal reporting and procedures, which a product like Heimdal, which is a technical product in an agent, we can't cover. So we're not covering 100%, but we can certainly cover over 90% of the requirements from a cybersecurity perspective. Anything that we don't cover would be highlighted in the report, and it would also give you recommendations about where you go to find that compliance. So from our perspective, if you're looking at the full stack, we can kind of provide all these green ticks to the elements of the side that we saw previously. Risk management, incident handling, how to report the incidents, how to help secure your supply chain, how to secure your information systems, and authentication with our dashboard authentication, and of course, training as well. So, final slide from me, Robin. Conclusion is, cybersecurity is no longer a nice to have, not even for the high level reps in your customers. Prevention is better than cure. And I hope I've demonstrated that some or all of our products can provide total security.
Yeah, 100%.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alan. And geez, you went very rapidly. You see that you're so experienced with presenting this to partners. Oh, that's great, man. That's great. So what do you see in the field? Because we're doing the stack audits, of course, with all the MSPs. So we lower the tech spend and we higher up your EBITDA. And we take a look at your blind spots, your overlap, and the amount of tools that you've got. And there came several blind spots out of here. And I believe 10 out of 10 MSPs don't even have like a PEM solution. What is the risk for an MSP if they don't have a PEM solution?
A PAM solution, I guess it's the big, when you look at the three PAM products, specifically the top one, which was PEDM, as we call it, privilege elevation, delegation management. The risk there is managing local admin rights. From a simple perspective, that if your client is under an attack, and most attacks, what they will try and do is hijack a device, guess the credentials. You know, you go through the journey, they send a phishing email, end user clicks on the phishing email, they think they've gone to a Microsoft site, so they log in with their credentials, but it's a clone website. So immediately from that perspective, that hacker has login credentials of one of your users. They will then attach to that device and log in as that user. Now, if that local user has a degree or has admin rights, all of a sudden that hacker has admin rights as well. And that's when they start to spread their malware, infiltrate the device, if you look at ransomware, that attack is typical, and it's not until often 2 or 3 months later that you get that final stage of the ransomware attack. Because what they've done with admin rights is that they put other malware on there that's stealing public property, stealing their clients' financial information, because you know your clients are providing the service to their clients. Their clients are probably buying stuff from your clients, so they're holding bank account numbers, credit card numbers. If the hacker has access to that, it's all going down that supply chain. So a simple methodology of DNS control, patching vulnerabilities, but being able to make sure that you are fully in control of the local admin rights is why it's all part of NIS2, and that's an important part of compliance. So when you look at our PAM products, yes, that's simple. It will immediately display to you all of the users that you might not be aware that may have left the company 2 years ago that are still on the system and still have local admin rights. So immediately you can delete those, lock them down, you know that the company is safe from local admin rights. And then, of course, as I was saying in the presentation, that then presents a slight pain because they can't do anything and it increases the workload for the service provider. But with that tool, of course, that workload can be pushed back. And of course, then the ability to control applications. The risk is that your accountants or your client's finance team need to run something, I don't know, let's call it like Sage, which is a UK finance company. Now that accounting system, needs local admin rights. So you give the accountant full local admin rights just for that to work. That is now a big hole and a big risk within a finance, which is the team you really, really want to protect. So by using the application control, you just drive the application to local admin, but you keep the user safe. So those are the biggest elements that we see picking up on.
That's great, and that's like exactly how you describe it. Is it first starts with like one solution, but it all rolls down to the whole organization and the risk of the whole organization. It's insane to believe that loads of MSPs still don't have the tools of and it is something that I'm aware of. Is like identity is such an important part and such an important piece for loads of MSPs, but we still didn't find the right tools to make sure that the identity are protected and safe. While it all goes wrong on the identity. And last week, Ellen, we did a session with Hackers Love MSPs. Kevin Zwaan, he's an amazing hacker. He pen tests loads of companies. And what he did, and he showcased in 40 minutes, that he came inside of the company, even when there were conditional access, even if the user didn't have cloud access. He still managed to get inside of the cloud applications and still managed to get inside of mailboxes in 40 minutes just by using the user. So with all the MSPs now onboarding tenant baselining tools and multi-tenant baselining, but still are open, is wide as open. It's ridiculous in my opinion. But it's a hard implementation of new solutions, of course. So therefore, the modular side of Heimdal is very, very attractive for loads of MSPs. Ellen, what is your what's your biggest take for MSPs, and then we can save up their time as well.
Again, I guess the biggest positive is that it is, we can unify, but it's modular. So running your stack audit will highlight the gaps, and then they can very simply deploy the Heimdal agent and select the products that plug the gaps. So there isn't a requirement, as much as we'd like it, but there isn't a requirement that you have the full unified suite. You can we often see that the starting point is the PEDM, the DNS security, and the vulnerability management. The vulnerability management, I would say, take a look at it, trial it. It is very, very efficient. Those are the kind of three products that most of the MSPs start with. And then, of course, you have the ability to bring on board the other products as and when you wish. And once you've deployed the Heimdal agent, if you want to enable another product, you don't have to redeploy anything. You simply go into the dashboard, click a button, and it goes live. And of course, it's a pay for what you use situation.
Yeah, 100%. So every MSP now attending, I will switch over to Dutch again, Ellen.
Thank you.
Elke MSP die hier nu bij zit en denkt van, goh, ik zou toch wel eens willen kijken hoe mijn security stack eruit ziet. Maar mijn stack überhaupt, om te kijken waar we als MSP prioriteit aan moeten geven om in te verbeteren. Voel je vrij om gerust even richting ons contact op te nemen, zodat we kunnen kijken van, wat maakt het nou, wat zijn jullie blind spots, wat zijn jullie overlap en hoe kunnen we ervoor zorgen dat jullie betere security services kunnen leveren, maar met minder tools hoeven te werken. Ellen, can I thank you so much? I think we're going to save the people some 50 minutes back of their time. Everybody gets very busy at the end of Q4, so for everybody, thank you so much for attending, and Ellen, thank you so much for your clear explanation.
Thank you very much.
About the solution, man. Really appreciate everyone. Iedereen die er niet was, geen enkel probleem. Jullie krijgen de recording thuisgestuurd. Mochten er nog vragen zijn, voel je vrij om Portland te contacten, zodat we met jullie kunnen zitten. jullie centraal kunnen stellen en zorgen dat jullie allemaal high performance MSP kunnen worden. Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Bye-bye.
Cheers.